Hi everybody, Joshua from Future Morphs, and I'm here with
Nicola from Google Snake Rings.
And we are in the beautiful island of Tenerife. And about a month ago we asked you guys to send us questions that you might have for us. And in this video we will answer them from our nice vacation spot. So we are here at the hotel now, and we will have a relaxing pool video for you guys. Stay tuned!
The first question from Alex is how did we meet?
Good question, of course. Well, I don't know, of course, but for people who don't know, yes, we are a couple. Well, years and years ago, I don't remember. Well, afterwards I remembered, but I didn't really remember. But Nicola was a customer, so we met, I guess, 2 or maybe 3 times in Ham, at the Ham show.
I guess the first time was in 2018.
Yeah, something like that. So Nicola bought some snakes for me, and I delivered it at the Ham show. We met up there. We didn't make the best impression because it was like, hello, here's your snakes and here's your money, and that was about it. But then, in 2020, I guess, we started chatting just online, like first about snakes and stuff, and then one thing led to another. I went to visit Nicola on one of my road trips, also to bring her some snakes. And turned out we are actually quite nice together. At least we thought so. So that was basically sort of our first date, I guess. So we just had some dates like that. So either I went to Germany or Nicola came to the Netherlands, because of course I'm from the Netherlands. And about, 8 months ago or something, 6 months ago,
in July.
7 months ago, July last year. We decided to be a couple, so that's our meeting story, I guess.
Yeah.
So. And then the next question. Let me. We have a list of questions. So. The next question is: will you make a breeding project together? And it's meant with the snakes. A breeding project with the snakes together. It's important to keep that in mind. So I will let Nicola answer this one.
Yeah, actually this year we will have, I have 2 snakes from Joshua to breed with 2 males which live with me. It is a Palmetto female which get made to a opal male with some heads, and also head palmetto, so to get some nice palmettos, but also to test the female for head lavender. And also a caramel terrazzo female, a paradox one, which gets made to a mandarin terrazzo motley male. And she basically is meant for or planned basically for me to test head Henry with a male, but also to get some nice combinations of terrazzo.
Yeah. Well, we get some terrazzo combinations anyway, and all will be head castani, so that's also a combination you don't see that much.
And all will be head motley as well.
Yeah, and head caramel, and so a lot of it's a good combination, I guess.
So. I think so too.
Okay. Well, for the next set of questions, we will have a different background in the pool. So we are in the pool, and this is the cold pool because the warm pool is actually sort of in use for some kids games or something. So if you hear music in the background, that's the reason. But the next question is from Sarah Moore. She asked, what got you into snakes and what made you choose the snakes that you ended up with?
With me the story is not really romantic or something. I basically first planned to get an aquarium, but it was not possible with all the water and my wooden floor. So I had to choose for something else. And I just did some research basically and ended up with corn snakes. And I actually really like them. In the meantime I also got some more species I keep. I'm still stuck with corn snakes because they are so relaxed and colorful, and I actually really like it.
Me too. Well, I talked about it before in other videos and stuff, but I also started with corn snakes. With reptiles I started with a bearded dragon because I wanted snakes, but my parents said like, no, start with a lizard. So my first reptile was a bearded dragon, but then I got 2 corn snakes, and then I got 3 corn snakes, and it went 5 corn snakes, and so I still really like corn snakes, of course, but I kept so many species over the years, different species of python, different species of boa, a lot of colubrids, like a lot of red snakes from also from Asia and stuff. So yeah, it's basically it's too much to name. At the moment, I only keep 3 species. Like, of course, corn snakes are my my main snake still. I really like breeding them. It's sort of not too difficult, of course, but all the morphs and stuff, that's just, well, what I like and what I'm known for. I also have some Goniosoma oxycephalum, and at the moment just one Spilotus pilatus, that's the chicken snake, and I basically have those really just as a pet project or a hobby project. So if I can breed them in the future, of course I will, because it will be quite cool. But yeah, I don't have them for breeding special plans or for making money or whatever, because it is just sort of a pet project. But I think it's cool to have at least some snakes in your collection that are not just easy, but also just something basically for fun. That makes it more fun, of course, to keep them as well. So yeah, you also see it with ball python breeders. Sometimes they have like just some other pythons that they like, or if you have a lot of boa constrictors, some people have like green tree boas, so it's still a boa, but it's just a little more challenging. So I guess that's yeah, that's a good answer to the question. I hope at least. Sarah, thank you for your question. The next question is from Rebecca Ferron.
Yeah, the next question is, what are you planning with Mimosa, and will you also make normal Mimosa without any other morphs?
Well, yeah, good question, Rebecca. I think, well, yeah, everybody who knows about Mimosa, I just described them last year in 2021 for the first time. At the moment, I definitely think you can be like a wild type Mimosa. The question is, will it be super amazing or super beautiful or colorful? That's a little bit well, my doubt. Especially I did breed in the past wild type red factor, basically, because it came from 2 red factor parents. But yeah, I got wild types, and they are really nice red looking animals as babies and also as yearlings. So they are a little bit more spectacular than just a wild type, but they are definitely not as spectacular as a cool red factor ghost or red factor snow or something like that. So I won't specifically breed for normal Mimosa without any other genes in it. If they happen to pop up, of course, I'm happy to show you the results. But I didn't make my breeding plans for 2022 yet. I know it's already February and I should do it, but I will do it soon. But I will probably, at least I want to mix it, but I have to see which males and females match well. But with Sunkist, I think would be really cool, or maybe with Lava. So the hypo genes will make them even brighter. Lavender, I'm also curious about, because yeah, if you have like red factor or peach line lavenders, they can also become really pretty and beautiful. So I think it could be the same with Mimosa. But basically the combinations are endless, and we are just at the tip of the mountain basically for Mimosa morph. So yeah. I'm also curious if with people who bought Mimosas from me in the past, like what are you planning, of course. But I think, yeah, there are so many options. So. But you also have some Mimosas in your collection?
Yeah, I do have, and I also will breed them this year. But yeah, I won't breed any other genes in it, basically. So, or at least nothing which is not known yet. So it will be a red factor Mimosa mixed, and with Tessera and Snow and Ghost and Ultramel, I guess, might also be in there. Yeah. At least Ultramel Ghost, I think. So yeah, some Mimosa varieties will also end up pop up with me this year, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I almost forgot to mention, of course, I will make red factor Mimosas again, because I made them 2020 and 2019 and 18, but I didn't know exactly what it was. So I named them either red factor or plus line or something. But yeah, Mimosa and red factor is just an awesome combination together. Yeah. So in 2021, I basically only made, well, most of it at least, just pure Mimosas, because I wanted to know how it would react basically without red factor in it. But color-wise, yeah, you will get like the nice pink and red pop from the red factor, and with Mimosa you get the frosting, the lots of yellow, the busy petals and stuff. So Mimosa and red factor is always a good combination to make. So if you need, well, ideas to make it, basically red factor Mimosa is definitely a good bet.
To me, it actually is even like look-wise at least better in most cases at least, yeah, than only Mimosas.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I really
totally
like the
agree.
combination.
Yeah, yeah, they are so, and Well, I am. You guys know I am bad at taking pictures. Nicola is way better with with a photo studio. Well, not studio, but a tiny setup, the photo box, and a better camera and stuff. And even then, all the pinks and reds and oranges are so difficult to capture.
Especially pink is almost impossible to really get on a picture.
Yeah.
So they look cool on a picture, but in real life they look so fucking more awesome.
Bright. Yeah, some of them. Well, I have still quite some in my collection, of course, and also I sold one in 2021, one to Nicola, and I saw it last week, and I was like, I should have kept it. But yeah, they are really just fluorescent in colors sometimes, like especially the pinks and the oranges and the yellows. Yeah. It's really cool.
That's actually nice.
Well, we will get out of this way too cold pool now.
And get into the warm pool?
Yeah, or maybe into the warm sun or something, to answer your next questions. So welcome back. We are now in the warmer pool. It's not super hot. We are super hot, of course, but the pool is not super hot. But it's not bad here. So the next question is also from Rebecca, and the question is: how cheap can you build a terrarium, and what do I need to take care of then? Well, of course, it depends on the size of the terrarium, because the bigger it is, the more materials you need. But yeah, you build some terrariums yourself, so what would you say is the cheapest option?
Well, I guess actually the cheapest option would just be a cheap wood, like OSB or something. And yeah, you can build it however you want, basically in dimensions, and yeah. So that probably is the cheapest way. But yeah, it always depends, of course, in how big it should be, and how much glass you want to use, or yeah. So it is a difficult question to answer just in a sentence or something, because you have so many options, basically. But usually wood will be the cheapest, I would say.
Yeah. Well, and even at some reptile shows or local builders, you can also get it quite cheap, especially smaller terrariums are not that expensive, even in glass. And if it's just about price, then maybe try buying a second-hand one, just on Marketplace or whatever, because sometimes you can really find bargain for just 10, 20, 30 euros. You can have quite a nice terrarium sometimes. That's even.
True. Just make sure about disinfection and stuff. So
yeah, of course, but that's an entirely different topic, maybe.
No,
but,
true, that's true. But at least you should think about it.
Yeah. Well, and I guess in general, buying cheap is not always buying the best quality, so always keep that in mind as well. In Dutch we say goedkoop is duurkoop. So buying cheap, sometimes you also get cheap crap. So anyway, we have one last question from Maarten. It's a long question. Do you want to read the question, maybe?
Yes. What can you recommend for a heat source in a terrarium? Infrared bulb, ceramic heater, heat mat or cable? And is it necessary to illuminate UVA and UVB? So you want to answer this question first?
Yeah.
Because there's a second question, basically.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, but it is connected. The second part of the question is, it now appears that the combination infrared bulb and Lucky Reptile thermostat is not the right combination, because the thermostat is not dimming.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in general, in a terrarium, I always recommend a heat lamp. You can have like the ceramic bulbs or heat cables or heat mats. Temperature-wise, it all works fine. But snakes, like we are talking about corn snakes now, of course, but corn snakes, but all snakes are used that if the heat comes from the top, that they also have a light that they can see. So it's sort of unnatural to have a really dark terrarium, for instance, with a heat spot, or to have the ceramic heater here, so the hot spot is here, and you have an LED light here, so then the snake thinks like, yeah, but there is light and there is heat. So I always recommend just heat lamps, especially in a terrarium. And then for heat, if you want to heat at night, then a heat mat, a heat cable or a ceramic heater mixed to a thermostat is ideal, because they don't emit any light, of course. So at least they have a day and night rhythm.
Yeah, but at least corn snakes usually don't need heat at night unless the room is really cold. So
yeah, true.
It's more for species who really need heat at night as well.
True. Well, but a hotspot for even a corn snake cannot. It's not a bad thing to have a little warmer than 18 or 17 or 18 degrees.
Yeah, depending always on the room.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So yeah, that's my thing about the UVA and UVB. Is it necessary? No. Is it recommended? Well, maybe. UVB is definitely not needed in corn snakes, because, for instance, I keep my snakes in rec systems. There is definitely no UVB light there, and they do perfectly well. But they can definitely use UVB light, so it's not something I'm against at all. So if you can add it, then definitely add it. And UVA is even more recommended for corn snake, I would say. Because UVB light they use, well, just like us, if we go into the sun, you can make, you can produce vitamin D, D3 to be precise, so you can get calcium from your diet. So that's basically what UVB light does, but snakes don't really need it. UVA is way more needed for them to see their environment and maybe even to communicate with each other. Like when I started with the hobby, basically the book said, well, UVA is also not needed because, yeah, snakes are basically dumb animals and they just crawl around. And well, that's it's a little, it's not totally like that, of course. But the longer I'm in the hobby and the more research there's done, yeah, it actually more and more research shows that not only lizards but also snakes really can benefit from UVA light.
Yeah,
so
true. And there were actually studies out that if they could choose, even without with UVB, for instance.
Oh, well, we can keep going.
Oh yeah.
Just keep talking.
If they could choose basically between UVA area or non-UVA, UV in general, UVA and UVB area or non-UV area, basically, they really chose the UV area. So they really want to, get UV light. So yeah, but I would also say UVA is more recommended or more important for them than UVB. But also UVB definitely has benefits for their like vitality and
yeah, that's true. But then again, is it necessary? Like, could you keep a corn snake without UVA or UVB light? Yeah, definitely, because in
they
tubs,
won't die or something, or won't get sick, or, but it definitely has benefits.
Yeah, so there's also, of course, sort of the difference. Well, maybe not, but are you a snake breeder, or do you just have one snake or two snakes in a terrarium? You learn so much more from your snakes in a terrarium, especially if you also work with nice daylight and stuff. So it's definitely recommended. Last part of the question is like your infrared bulb and Lucky Reptile thermostat is not the right combination because the thermostat is not dimming. Well, first of all, it's not that important, I think, because the thermostat just says like, okay, you have to get on at, let's say, 22 degrees. At 23 degrees it will turn off, and then at 22 it will go on again. So it is constantly between 22 and 23 degrees, for instance, or it can be between 29 and 30, but it's usually a half a degree to a degree difference. So if you just use it for an extra warm area, especially at night, for instance, then it can work.
Well, and in the habitat of corn snakes, at least, you also don't have a constant temperature.
Yeah,
so
true.
if you are at the equator or something, then it usually is sort of the same temperature over the day or something. But also in nature, basically, you have sort of like...
Yeah, so it's definitely not a problem. Option can be switch your thermostat to a dimming thermostat or a pulse thermostat. Then your problem is also solved. But it's not really a problem, I think, so you don't have to solve it. That's my idea.
Yeah, it's not needed, I would say.
So these were the questions. So everybody who sent in a question, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something about us and about snakes and stuff. And now we will make an awesome outro for you guys.